and certainty. Okay? Now, for this generation, for our own generation, things are very different. Okay? We do not have any guarantees of economic security or certainty or predictability at any point in our lives. Okay? There is no guarantee, for example, that after writing JAMB and passing it, you will get into university for various reasons. Okay? One, because I have to point out to you that you may not have noticed that Nigeria's population is increasing. So the number of people that wrote JAMB 20 years ago is not the same number writing it now. Okay? In 2008, 1.2 million people wrote JAMB. And of that number, only 150,000 will get spaces. That is, I'm not talking of those that passed, more than 150,000 passed, but only 150,000 could be assured of getting admission places in Nigerian universities. So it's a question of population and it's a question of space as well. So there's no guarantee that writing and passing JAMB means that you will get into university. There's no guarantee that once you're in the university, that you will spend 4 years in the university, or you will spend the required period, meant for whatever course it is that you're reading. And that is not something that's difficult to understand. You are just coming back from a 4-month-long strike action. Okay? So it is things like that that mean, for example, that if you are in final year, as at the time of this industrial action, it's very likely that you missed the batch that you were supposed to enter for the National Youth Service. Okay? There's no guarantee that you will even enter the National Youth Service for various reasons. Other than constant strike actions, there's the problem of NYSC itself being overstretched. Okay? And then finally, when you finish your NYSC, there's no guarantee that you will get a job. Jobs are scarce. Nigerian universities produce about 100,000 graduates plus annually. And of that number, the economy can only accommodate, it is said, around 10,000, that's 10%. There's a statistic, and throughout this conversation we're having, I will try and give you statistics so that you understand, you can put this information in proper context. According to one statistic, 64 million Nigerians are unemployed. Okay? 64 million. Most of them are youth. Most of them belong to this generation. Another statistic says that 86% of graduates will be jobless for 2 years before they get a job. 86%. That is, if we just randomly selected 10 people from this audience, 8 of them would remain jobless for 2 years. You will be job hunting for 2 years. That's what that means. Okay? And so my point is that there's no certainty. There's no security. And that's why the lecture is titled Creativity and Motivation in an Age of Uncertainty, because that's the age in which we are living. I spoke about the population challenge, and I want to dwell on that a bit more. In 1973, when the NYSC was founded, the pioneer set of corpus nationwide, the total number was 2,634. Okay? 2,634 nationwide. And that was 1973. Last year, I had the privilege of addressing 2,700 corpus in Plateau State, and they belong to one batch. Now, take 2,700 multiplied by 36 states plus Abuja FCT, so that's 2,600 times 37. Okay? And that is just one batch. So that gives you an idea of the scale of the problem that we are facing. The other challenge is that we must factor in the fact that Nigeria's population doubles every 30 years. Our population doubles every 30 years. It's 200 people. In fact, there's reason to believe that it's probably even more, just giving a conservative estimate. Okay? Last year, some federal agencies, the Nigerian Prison Service and the Nigerian Immigration Service, they advertised, they did interviews. They had job vacancies for 3,000 people. They had 3,000 job vacancies. And 200,000 people showed up. Now, that is 3,000 vacancies. And then 200,000 people showed up. So if you do the arithmetic, it meant that for every one vacancy, there were 70 applicants. And I don't know how many of you heard of that story, but in the course of the exercises, because of the recruitment exercise, 17 of them died in the course of the physical training. Okay? And these are matters of relevance to you, because who is to say that you will not be among people looking for jobs with the NIS and the prison service a few years from now? So job hunting has become a matter of life and death. The other problem we have is not just unemployment. The second problem is unemployability. I'm saying all this because I want to give us a proper context for our subsequent deliberations. The second problem we have is unemployability. Unemployability is different from unemployment. Unemployment is where there are no jobs at all. Unemployability is where there are available vacancies, but the people on ground do not have the requisite skills to fill up those vacancies. So for instance, if there are 10,000 available jobs and you have 5,000 graduates, if those 5,000 graduates do not have the skills required by those 10,000 jobs that are available, the 10,000 jobs will remain empty and the 5,000 graduates will remain jobless. Do you understand that? That is what unemployability means. Now let me give you a more concrete example. If you open a Nigerian newspaper and you see an advert for a vacancy in a telecoms firm, MTN, Netics, or any of them, and you see that they're advertising for the post of a vacancy, advertising a vacancy in, let's say, telecoms engineering, for example, you know immediately that that vacancy is not for you. It does not refer to a Nigerian, as of this moment, studying in a Nigerian university, because no Nigerian university offers telecoms engineering. I hope you understand that. That's an example of unemployability. So there's an available job, but no Nigerian training in this country right now has the skill set required to enter that vacancy or to take up that vacant slot. I'll give another example. The oil and gas industry, and incidentally, these are the dream jobs that all undergraduates are looking at: banking, telecoms, and oil and gas. In the oil and gas industry, there is a huge deficit in terms of certain jobs like plumbing, very manual work, manual basic engineering work. Okay? Now, unfortunately, many Nigerians do not have the skill set required for things like undersea plumbing, for example. And so they cannot fill up those vacancies. So what multinational oil companies do is that they hire Filipinos and other nationals from other countries to come to Nigeria and do undersea plumbing and pay them